All right, here we are. Another session of Drawing with Dad. I'm here with another one of my kids, and I'm here with Peter. Say your name, Peter.
Hi.
And say hello.
My name is Peter.
Today we are going to be drawing who?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, who recently starred in, well, you say. You know.
He was in Uncharted.
Uncharted with our favorite Tom Holland. And who does he play again in that show?
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Sully.
Okay. So we're going to be drawing Mark Wahlberg, and I recently saw the show. Peter saw the show. Did you like it?
Yeah.
What did you like most about it? Nothing?
I don't know. I liked it. It was good.
It was good. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other, maybe Mark Wahlberg shows that we like, and we'll be commenting on the drawing that we're doing too. So what do you think about the initial sketch process so far, bud?
It looks good.
What do you notice is happening? Is this how you draw a face?
No, I just draw a face by drawing a face.
Okay. That's fine. I'll take you through my process, and maybe we can both learn something. So anyway, one of the things I'm noticing about the eyes, that they're like not really the normal shape of eyes, given the caricature and the just kind of the look on his face.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So I want to make sure to not make those just like boring almond eyes, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that they have the expression on his face. I always say this, I'm going to remind you, just like I remind all the other kids and anyone I ever talk to, this first pass of the sketch is super, super light, okay?
Yeah.
As you draw it, just make sure to do it super light, all right? Make sure that you can get things where you want them to be, and then once they are where you want them to be, then it just kind of becomes an exercise of tracing.
Okay.
Who doesn't love tracing, right? So, anyway, Marky Mark has got this cool little look on his face. When I first got to know who Mark Wahlberg was, it was because he was Marky Mark.
He was?
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, yes.
What else is he in?
Well, that band, or that group, produced music in the early 90s, kind of on the heels of a band called the New Kids on the Block. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so the New Kids on the Block, one of the members of that group was Donnie Wahlberg. That's his brother.
Oh.
And so I think you even see him in some of the New Kids on the Block videos that were produced at that time. And out of nowhere comes this song. I think the first song that I was aware of was called Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And he just sings it out loud and proud. I'm going to move these lips here.
Yeah.
This is one of the benefits of doing things electronically.
Yeah.
Is rather than having to erase, which I don't typically erase, but I do it every now and again. But I can also move things around. And if you don't position correctly the features, then sometimes you can miss some good opportunities to make things recognizable. And I think that space underneath Marky Mark's nose is pretty important. So we'll add some more space for that. Anyway, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, they came out with Good Vibrations and some other hits in like 1992. And crazy to hear those songs and to realize like that was 30 years ago.
Oh.
Can't believe it.
That's
Your
weird.
dad is old.
I just think of like the 90s, like, I don't know, like 10 years ago. Oh no, it's like, not like 10 years
a while ago.
But yeah.
10 years ago was 2012. So we're recording this obviously 2022. Peter is in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And loving junior high. Looking forward to 9th grade. I said this morning driving to school, and we're halfway done.
Yeah.
Nothing better than that. So, when you do hair, we're just going to go into the hair area here.
Yeah.
You can see that I'm just kind of stroking in like a direction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love to think of like putting in every single stroke of hair. So right now there's a couple of things like this little flare of hair on that side of his head there. those will look like individual hairs, but the rest of this should just kind of be masses of hair. And this is the overall direction that it's going, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of key it in with some of those strokes. His mouth is, he's not smiley, he's just kind of got this serious look on his face.
Yeah.
Suit. Nice.
Okay, what's this little space right? Are you gonna fill that in later?
Where are you talking about, like near his forehead?
Yeah, just the one right there.
Oh yeah. That's just sometimes I bounce around the sketch.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just focusing on the eye, noticing just some things going on with his eyes. I'm obviously using a static image. You can see on the screen now for my visual resource material. Normally, when you're sketching someone in person live, especially like let's say they're talking, like giving a speech or something like that, sometimes they'll turn their head, and the thing that you were drawing, like as they turn their head, it changes completely, right? You can't continue your drawing, but then maybe you can focus on other things like the hair or maybe the ears, things that you can see.
Is that what you did in general conference a lot?
Yeah, so general conferences, where there's lots of speakers, and they cut away and show a different thing other than the speaker, or the speaker's head turned one side to the other, then I can just focus on some of the things that I know how to draw without the reference. So if it's clothing, if it's someone's ear, I kind of just draw those however I like to draw them rather than getting too specific. The real characterization happens like where I'm focused right now, on the nose, the mouth, the eyes, and the areas around. Yeah. And if you like what we just said, then subscribe. Yeah, so focus on those key areas, and then also the spaces between those areas is also very important.
Yeah.
Once you get done and you're happy with where you're at, electronically I draw back the sketch to be lighter, and then I take a darker pen tool, and then I start to really go in seriously on some of these. Yeah, on some of these lines. Yeah. So you can see that I'm really looking close and saying, okay, there's a really big shadow.
Don't you draw on that?
Yeah, I'll draw on a tablet. And it's a little different than drawing just on paper and pencil, but the principles are all the same. The only difference is, it's very easy to undo or to erase. But typically I like to encourage people not to erase at all, which is why it's really important at first to just draw super light. So, Mark's kind of got a unique nose.
For beginning shadows, do you just like add those little lines right there?
Yeah, little hash marks. Now what I'm doing now is like a mustache, so that's not a hash mark. It could be confused as a hash mark, but I'm going to have to draw those in a certain way so that they appear as mustache or just like whiskers rather than just like shade. So as we go through this process, we'll figure that out little by little. So the lines on the outside, like what I'm doing now, on the outside of the mouth, that really controls what the overall facial expression looks like, because you've got the muscles that are doing what they're doing for the face, and then they influence how the skin folds and how it all interacts with the different features. He doesn't have a huge smile, and so the way his eyes look right now and the way his cheekbones, or not cheekbones, his cheek muscles kind of bunch up around his eyes is very different, the serious look, than it would be with like a big toothy grin,
Yeah.
But he does have that like unique trait of kind of raising that right eyebrow of his.
It's like
so yeah, he's got like that signature look, right?
Yeah.
So, well, tell me what you thought about the movie. What do you remember? What do you know about Uncharted?
I didn't know it was a video game until I saw like before it was starting it said PS4, and I was like, oh,
that's right.
Yeah,
and the intro, there was that little logo on. Did you know, so this is something we discovered, so Tom Holland and I can't remember the girl's name, but they swim to shore, and and I meet a guy that's like sunbathing on the beach. He's like, "What? Where did you guys come from?" They're like, "We came from a plane." He's like, "Oh, I've been there before." Did you remember that scene?
Wait, and the girl came up? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you remember that scene. The guy that they're talking with is actually the guy that provides the voice for Nate Drake in the Uncharted games.
That's cool.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, he's not like a famous actor. Who is that? So we stayed after to see who he was. That's who he was.
That's cool.
So I'm sure there's tons of Easter eggs in the show that we don't know because we're not, super into the game property.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining. There was tons of action, right? A lot of unbelievable stunts, of course.
Wait a minute. What movie is that? Oh, I was just thinking of a different movie just barely for like 2 seconds and maybe that was no. But I do like the planes, the helicopters flying with the boats attached to them. That was.
Yeah, that's a little. And it seemed like the bad guys just kind of coordinated that as if they were ordering a pizza, right? It's like, oh, just get 2 massive helicopters to pull some large ancient boats.
Yeah, and I'm like wondering how did they like get the net under the boats?
Yeah, it seemed like they had a skeleton crew that was very careless as far as their feeding those ships. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. You know the show. What is it? The Italian Job. We watched that together, right?
Yeah.
Did you know Mark Wahlberg is also in that show?
That's where I knew him from. Yeah.
And I'm not typically a fan of shows that are like 2-hour commercials, and I think that Italian Job is kind of a 2-hour commercial for the Mini Cooper.
Yeah, Mini Cooper.
But I really like the Italian Job. I thought it was kind of a cute action show. Is that a compliment? If you're one of the actors in that show? It was fun. It was entertaining. It was fun. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
There you go. So we'll color in the suit here. After I get the dark lines in, then I come in with my values, and I'm always. So first of all, I fill it with that medium gray, right? And what I'm doing here is I'm pushing the shadows in. So you see, I'm just finding where the darkest places of the sketch are. So it's going to be the hair. I'm going to see some really dark shadows around the eyes, lines in the face. I'm finding dark shadows like under the nose. And so with the pen tool, I'm just grabbing, basically this darker gray, and I'm just throwing more dark on there, and it's adding dimension to my otherwise very flat sketch.
Yeah.
Now some artists, when they do caricatures, they'll just do what I'm doing with large amounts of cross-hatching, which is cool. A lot of good artists.
So like if they see like something that's like just a bit different about that person, make that like...
No, what the cross-hatching refers to is just rather than just blocks of shadow, they would just create that with a series of lines. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
But because I have the means to just do blocks of shadow, I'm going to do that. And then when I'm done doing that, you can see I just change the pen to a bright white, or different shades of white, and key in some of the lightest areas, the highlight areas. So we see some in the nose, obviously the whites of the eyes. We've got some things happening, like just the whiskers, we'll have those pop a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. Here's a little shine in the lip, so we'll add that. And really what I'm trying to do with the lights and the darks is I'm trying to take something that's very flat looking and just bring some dimension to it. I'm doing it pretty quick. Obviously this is a study rather than like a final thing, but even the studies, they can turn out pretty good. Get that massive kind of highlight on the outside of his head. Keyed in there and above his eyes. He's got some really, like when you watch his eyes, they're just really interesting shapes and muscles that are engaging to create those signature looks. That's good for the camera. So, chin.
Yeah, it's like...
We're just about done here. What do you think so far? Did we get the likeness in your book?
Huh?
Did Did we get the likeness in your book? Or does it look like Marky Mark?
Oh, yeah.
You'd be able to recognize that even if we weren't talking about it?
Yeah, probably.
So that's the idea. Add some more shadowing to clothing here. Anyway, that'll just differentiate that space a little bit more from the face.
Yeah.
Depth here on the eyes. There's one nose, like I said before.
Oh, there's where it's going.
And it's really hard to draw like a bag underneath someone's eyes or kind of space under someone's eyes without it looking like super, super tired or maybe old.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of practice, but you can't forget that space. It's always there. Don't forget that space. Everyone has it, regardless of your age.
It's just like the end of your eye.
Shadow inside his face there. It looks like the kind of the look in his eye that we have here with my sketch is looking right at you. The source image is kind of looking away. I kind of like him looking right at you. Nice.
With both, when they're like side by side, you can both like, is it like in this one, it can look like she's looking at you in the actual picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'll
I've
finish
seen
up some of these eyebrows, and then we'll make the hair darker. That whole back side of his head, even to the top, is just really, really dark. I'm not super concerned about making sure that you've got like hair strokes in there. I just want to fill that color in with just dark, dark, dark. And so I will kind of connect that to the front area. I'll be careful not to fill all of that in because I do want some of those lines to show essentially a direction of the hair. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty decent. Got a little bit more shadowing underneath the nose here. Again, that's one of the key areas where you can just focus if you want to add depth to your subject. It's just natural that the nose protrudes from your face, and so it's definitely going to cast a shadow in most lights wherever you're at, unless you're being photographed in a studio and you're being lit so that your face has minimal shadows, right? I'll add just a little bit of indication of whisker down here, and that will help those lines appear as whiskers rather than hash marks, which is important for this particular subject. Just tweak the lips here just a little bit. It's kind of interesting. The look on his face is not like smiley. He's not mad. It's kind of just like in between. Pretty satisfied with what we captured. These little lines that I'm putting here just to add a little bit of texture in some of these spaces that are otherwise empty. I don't want them to look particularly boring anymore. So just add a little bit of texture. Mr. Mark Wahlberg is looking pretty close. And then we'll go watch one of his movies. I don't know. We've got the Italian job. We can watch that anytime we want.
Yeah, sure.
These are hash marks underneath his bottom lip. Okay, facial hair and shadow. And I'm just going to go over this big block of color with a hash mark. Just to kind of reinforce the shadow just a little bit. Just so that it doesn't look super, super flat. Well, I think I'm pretty pleased. How about we do maybe a final reveal and a special Uncharted background?
Thanks.
How did yours end up? Let's look at yours.
Okay.
Here we go. There it is. Well, good job, buddy. You did a great job.
Thanks.
I think you're well on your way. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next one.